Hello again, this is Andrew for Alpha Moon Studios LLC. I'm going to be giving you your second Lua tutorial today, and today I'm going to be showing you something pretty cool called a table. So, last time we talked about a function called io.read, which stands for input, output, read. Now I told you that IO is a collection of functions, and from that function we are going to pull from that collection we're going to pull the function read. So how do we create one of these collections? It's actually super simple. So what we do is we want to name it something like my table. I used an underscore. There's a couple different things you can do, but it's important to remember that in Lua you can't use spaces. So two options real quick, this is kind of a tangent, that people like to do is they either like to capitalize the first word of every, or the first letter of every new word with a lowercase for the first one, or they like to do an underscore. Whichever one you do is fine, it doesn't really matter all that much. It's important that you stay consistent though. So this is how you create a table. Instead of creating a variable a normal way, like a equals 0, we set it equal to curly braces. And that tells Lua that instead of being a normal variable, this is going to be a collection of variables, or what they call a table here. And then we can set member variables in the table. Member variable meaning part of the table, just something that's contained within it. So for instance, we can say my table, and then to tell Lua that we want to set something within the table, we go dot, and then we'll give it a name like var, and set it equal to whatever value we want. And then to access it, it's super simple. We can go print my table dot var, and when we run that, we see that it prints out. Now we can also store functions in tables. So we can say function my table dot funky, give it these here to make Lua know that we're doing a function, and then we'll just do something in here. We'll say print hello YouTube. And then we will just call it here and run it. Awesome. Now I want to show you one more thing. So you don't actually have to give variables inside or a table specific names. You can also give them numbers. So a good way to do that would be, the way to do that would be my table, and then give it square braces. And in the square braces, give it a number. And then you can set that equal to whatever you want. So now, when I'm going to set this to 1, sorry. When I call this, it'll print that out. This is really awesome when you're writing a program and you don't want to name every single variable, which, trust me, you don't want to have to name every single variable when you're writing a program. You can just, for instance, you can say you can set x equal to 10, and you can do this. And if at any time x were to change before it got to here, if it wasn't 10, for instance, if it was 9, it wouldn't matter, because you're not storing this information in x, you're just using x to give it a place to store it. And you see that that works just fine. So, for instance, if you had a program running and it wanted to store some data, say you had a file that you wanted to store, it wouldn't make a lot of sense if the program had to know the file ahead of time and you had to actually go into the code and change everything. That's not how programs generally work. You can use this to kind of create that same effect, where it doesn't matter what you put into it, it'll put it somewhere. And then you can pull it back up if you have that reference. Awesome. So that's about it for this time. I will see you guys next time. Make sure to check out our website, alphamoonstudios.xyz, for some awesome video games, and make sure to check out our Patreon if you're able to help us keep producing video games and tutorials like this. Thank you very much.